Hey, it's Grant McKenzie here from ZenPilot. I'm excited to talk about how we're running on EOS, and we're doing it using two key tools, Success.co, which I have up here, and ClickUp as well, and how we're using those in conjunction. I want to take you through why we're using two different tools, a quick tour of Success, how we have the integration set up to help us out. And if you don't like dark mode, I'm sorry, but you are not going to like this video because I have both of these tools in dark mode. So if you can tolerate that, let's go ahead and dive in. The place to start is probably just ClickUp directly. Like, how are we running EOS in ClickUp? We have a template that's available for running on EOS in ClickUp. If you want any help accessing that, reach out, let me know. Leave a comment on the video, and I can help you get that set up. But you can see we've got a whole space in ClickUp set up for helping us manage EOS. Each of our L10s runs in its own folder, and in that folder there's lists for rocks, for our to-dos, for our issues, for our scorecard, and then for our meeting notes. And we're doing some real cool things in our meeting notes. We're actually embedding views. If we look at to-dos here, you'll see a handful of different views, and we're using these and embedding it into our meeting docs so that each doc, or each meeting, each L10 runs through just a single doc, and we're able to live there for all this stuff. So this works really well. A couple of things that we've struggled with. One is the scorecard, making the scorecard run really smoothly in ClickUp natively with all the features of one of the purpose-built EOS scorecards is challenging. And I'll give you just a couple examples of what I'm talking about in the scorecard side. So here I'm back in Success. So being able to see the chart over time, no problem. We can make cool charts in ClickUp. But being able to set targets, see week over week progress, and then have these color-coded scores. If I change this target, so now I change this target over time, having that not update, my target was 5 new deals a week closed. That's been the target. Now, as we head into Q4, I want to change that target to 6 or to 7. Having that not go back and change the formatting, couldn't come up with a good, easy way to make that happen in ClickUp all the time. And so having a dedicated scorecard tool was really nice. And then some of the other features, the native built-in accountability chart, obviously we use ClickUp whiteboards and have done that for our accountability chart. Things like the people analyzer tool, we've used that in ClickUp Docs, and we've built a thing in tasks to be able to do it. The L10 meetings themselves being spun up and easy to run. There's just a handful of things where it was just taking a couple extra clicks to manage in ClickUp. And so using Success was super helpful to be able to speed those things up and make the admin easier as there are more and more teams. But the trade-off then becomes with any of these tools, you think of 90 or any of their EOS platforms specifically, the big challenge and hang up for so many teams has been, now I've got one place where I live for 90 minutes a week or 60 minutes, depending on the length of my L10. And I've got to-dos that come out of that, issues that come out of that, headlines that happen in those meetings, and my rocks get tracked there. And then this disconnect where these to-dos are thought about for the 90 minutes that you're there, forgotten about for the better part of a week. You jump in the next week and you're like, oh, shoot, I forgot to have that ever get reflected in my workload and plan for that in what was happening. Or if you remembered, that was great. That's way better than not remembering, but then you had this manual work to bring stuff over. So Success has just released this new integration, and I'm going to pull this up real quickly. So this integration with ClickUp allows us to configure what we want to set up, and so we can take this demo team and sync it directly to a specific space and a specific list where we want to-dos to go. So this is, if you're using both the tools, you're for sure going to want to turn on this integration and set this up to a specific list in ClickUp to make sure your work gets pulled in and make sure that that list, you may even want all of those to go to a specific list like this, and then use ClickUp automations to then share from that to another list, depending on what you want to do. You can even use an agent in ClickUp to look at the type of work that it is, analyze the task title and any context that gets passed through, and automatically share it to the appropriate list for that, so it can live in multiple places. It gets reflected in your workload correctly. We could do a whole long video just on how that gets set up. But basically, we just now have a way for our work to a to-do that comes out of an L10 meeting. And if you're not familiar with EOS, L10 is the level 10 weekly meeting, the meeting rhythm that we have. Those to-dos automatically get created in ClickUp. And the best part is that it's bi-directional. So you update it in ClickUp and it gets pushed back through into Success. So you're not logging in and out of platforms constantly over the course of the week. So one of the things I wanted to do was just give you kind of a demo of Success. And I think that showing off like how this works, I think we can kind of kill two birds with one stone here. So I've got this notification. My weekly L10 for this demo team is starting soon. So I'm in here. I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. Obviously, I've got the nice timer function and everything else happening. We're going through our segue, prompts for that. We move into the scorecard. We can see each of the measurables that we have in the scorecard. And so as we look at that, see any issues, sales meetings, we did not hit the bar that we have. Our goal is 15 or more. So we'll drop that down to our issues list, and you can see we can just add it in there. By the way, there's different types of scorecards. Most of the teams that I've worked with are primarily just running off of a weekly scorecard, but there are times where a different type of scorecard makes sense. Everyone goes through. Anything that's off track gets dropped down. If there's an issue with something that is on track, that gets dropped down too. We'll look at rocks. Obviously, we could add rocks in here. People keep their rock statuses up to date. If it's off track, we'll do the same thing. We'll drop it down, and you can see the difference between what's a company rock and then what are individual rocks, if you want to as well. Moving to headlines, and as we're going through some of these things, hey, we've got this Success and ClickUp integration video that's in progress. That's fine. We shared it out. Great. Greece was amazing. We just had our company offsite in Greece. Such a good trip. There may be some takeaways that may be an issue for some reason, so we can drop it down directly from here. 3 new testimonials. We're good on each of those. We move into to-dos, walk through, hey, what open to-dos do we have? So let me just add an example to-do in here. Change the due date, change the team, who it's assigned to, all that kind of information. And I'm going to add that in there just so that you can see what happens in ClickUp when we do that. Okay, so let's toggle over to ClickUp, and boom, that got added in here. And you can see, it got the assignee set, it picked up the start date. We didn't add any other context there, but this is what it looks like when a to-do gets created and passed through into ClickUp. This is in progress, whatever other stuff is happening. Now it's done, wherever we want to go. This gets closed out ultimately. Time gets tracked. All the normal things that you do in ClickUp should happen. As you're passing this through, you may want to even use an automation to apply a template so that you're getting your right custom fields filled out and all that kind of stuff. So you can see there's an automation running here to set the task type. So anyways, that's an example that gets closed out in ClickUp. And this will run, right now it runs on a 5-minute sync back to Success. So the creating a to-do, in fact, let's see how fast this is. How fast is this? I'm going to add it. Let's just go over to ClickUp and let's see how long this takes. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I don't know, you can see this. I did not pause anything in the video. That was like 2 seconds. It runs pretty much instantly. 5 minutes in, these will sync back over to, we'll leave this one open for now. These will sync back over into Success with this in terms of status updates here. You can see, by the way, in the integration settings, if you look at this, all we have there are just the classic 2 statuses of EOS tasks. It's either a to-do or it's done. You did it or you didn't do it. ClickUp can have more, and so you'll just map, like, hey, anything that's open in ClickUp, that means to-do, and closed would be your done status. Okay, so anyways, it's got to-dos, and then the issues list. I love this. You get to hover over these. Like, this is just really simple, nice features. We use a couple tools for how we used to do this in ClickUp lists for our issues. I've never even looked at the grid view. Oh, that's interesting. That can make sense too. But you pick in your top 3 issues at a time to go solve. Let's do this. Let's solve that. And then you can click in, work through them. You can create to-dos directly from each of these to-dos. Then automatically get related back to the issue. The issue could be solved, but there's still a to-do link, a link between those two. Again, if we click back over to ClickUp, we can see that jumps in there instantaneously. So it's really quick and easy to work through these. Obviously, the goal is that we solve all the issues. We move to conclude. We walk through, hey, what are the to-dos? What needs to happen? Our cascading messages. Do we tag anything as a cascading message where we automatically need to send something to a different L10 or different team, make sure that other folks on the team know what's happening for clarity. And then ultimately, we'll rate the meeting. So if I had participants here, we'd be able to do that, conclude, send the meeting recap email. And so we'll go ahead and conclude this meeting. And it gives you, hey, where did you spend time? All that kind of information. Has an automatic recap email that gets sent, a calendar integration, like just a lot of these bells and whistles that are really convenient for running good meetings that don't come natively in ClickUp. I do want to take you through a couple other things in the platform, but first let's just go back to to-dos. Okay, so the example to-do got completed and that got reflected back. So it must have been 5 minutes or almost 5 minutes since I mentioned that. Wow, time flies when you're the one recording it. But I just wanted to give you an example of like what the cycle time is. There's an open API, so you could make this run faster, but that's the current limit that they have set on it, is that it's running. It's looking for updates every 5 minutes to go get those updated. So unless you're finishing your stuff up 2 minutes before the meeting and then you race through the segue, so back to that L10 agenda, let's go back here. You know, that segue, there's typically, and you can customize the schedule, but typically a 5 minute window there. So even if you updated something right at the top of the meeting, by the time you actually get into to-dos down here, it's certainly updated. And so you're not missing on anything. Okay, I'm not going to click into a couple of these because these are our actual numbers, but the VTO is really nice, having how that's managed and structured in Success. The accountability chart is really nice, and there's a couple other tools here. So there's the People Analyzer built in. This one's actually not very difficult to do and keep in ClickUp. So this is not necessarily a huge differentiator, but it is nice for anyone who's not familiar with using the People Analyzer. Anytime there's a people issue, you are using the People Analyzer tool, and you're giving people either a plus minus, or a minus. So they are demonstrate that value. That's very representative of them. That's most of the time. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Not most of the time is a minus. And so we're going through and scoring people humble and hungry. Hey, that's great. Does he own his stuff? In this case, yes. Gray's terrible at celebrating good work. You know, that's a minus. I have your back. Sometimes does, sometimes doesn't. A systems thinker, absolutely. And then you've got the GWC part. Do they get it? And here we're specifically talking about their function and the roles in their function. Do they get it? Which means, hey, fully understand, like they are clear on what great looks like in this role. Do they want it? And then the capacity to do it, that's both a, do they have the skill set to do it, and do they have the bandwidth to do it? And so the bar at ZenPilot, and probably your company if you're working on this as well, is from a core values perspective, we need, like this is the bar for us. You have to have a plus for at least 3 of the core values, no minuses, or and up to 2 plus minuses, and then yes, like 3 yeses for gets it, wants it, and capacity to do it. It's kind of nice to keep this in here, see how that changes over time. For individuals, you can go through, complete it, and then this is kind of in that person's file over time. There's an organizational checkup and a SWOT tool that's in here as well. So there's a couple tools, and I would imagine there's going to be more things that we'll see like this come out over time. But some of the tools that are just kind of helpful to see on an ongoing basis. You know, if you haven't taken the organizational checkup, this is the same standardized 20-question checkup that EOS has had for quite some time. But you can quickly do those. You can save them over time. You can have different people. You can compare results. And so this has just been a very cool thing to have built into the platform. Again, this is not if it was, hey, there's a people analyzer, there's an org checkup, and there's an accountability chart. Those things we don't use enough to say, yeah, we should go pay for another piece of software and run with it. But the ability to run really smooth meetings, have the scorecard feature, and have sync to-dos, so we're actually not losing anything in ClickUp. All our work is still winding up in our single source of truth in ClickUp. That's what makes success, like those are the killer features of the platform. It's so fast to use, like everywhere as we're navigating through this, you just fly through success. And so having the ability to have it synced specifically by the team or the L10 that you're running or the type of meetings that you're running to a specific list in ClickUp has made the integration totally worth it with Success.co. Okay, so I've told a number of people about this platform. A bunch of people asked, hey, can you do a video and just walk me through, like, why should I even, it hasn't even crossed my mind to consider paying for 2 platforms. So that's one camp. The other camp was folks who are using a tool, EOS 1 a while back, 90.io, and they were like, hey, what's the buzz about Success? Maybe we should look into this. And so I wanted to make sure that I got this video, kind of a quick, light touch, just what you need to know about the 2 platforms and how they work together to share with you. If you have any questions, drop a comment and let me know. Would love to help with that. If you hate dark mode, just know you've got light mode in both tools. It's fine. You'll break my heart a little bit, but no problem to toggle this over to light mode in both of these tools. If that just woke you up, I apologize. But those are the core features. That's where we're using Success.co in conjunction with ClickUp to run on EOS better. And the same thing that we want for all of our clients here at ZenPilot. What we're after is we are building teams who are more productive, they're more profitable, and they have healthier dynamics. As a result, we're building healthier teams. That's exactly why we use Success.co and ClickUp together. If you want more content like this, you want to know about some of the other apps that we use at ZenPilot, and all the features of ClickUp. How are we using the calendar feature? How are we using the AI features? What are we doing with ClickUp's planner? And how do we navigate this all? How are we using agents and AI? Drop a comment. Let me know what you're interested in. I'm here to create the content that helps you build a more productive, profitable, and healthy team. Thank you for watching today, and excited to be with you in the next video.